Throughout the corridors of power and passion, where reason collides with emotion and image dances with intent, one name continues to whisper truths through the ages: Niccolò Machiavelli. Often misunderstood as a schemer or manipulator, Machiavelli was, above all, a realist. He viewed human nature not as it ought to be, but as it is: raw, instinctual, strategic. In the context of attraction, Machiavelli's insights can be translated into timeless truths that reveal what genuinely makes men attractive, not only in appearance, but in essence, in presence, and in control. This long-form script dives deep into the Machiavellian mind to uncover the often unseen laws of attraction that govern desire. We speak not of superficial tactics or cliché tricks, but of core philosophical principles that shape perception, power, and magnetic masculinity. Niccolò Machiavelli's blueprint for attraction is not built upon charm or beauty, but upon dominance, awareness, and precision. He understood a cardinal truth: people, including women, are drawn not to the loudest or kindest man, but to the man who owns the room with calm power. To be attractive, in Machiavellian terms, is to be undeniable, not necessarily through brute force, but through strategic self-mastery. So, what truly makes a man attractive? Let's peel back the illusions and look into the principles Machiavelli himself might endorse. 1. Power and perception. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. In this quote lies one of the most Machiavellian truths about attraction. Appearance is more influential than reality. Machiavelli wasn't suggesting deceit for its own sake, but rather mastery over image. A man who understands the power of optics is always more attractive than one who is merely good-hearted. He dresses sharply not for vanity, but to craft perception. He speaks with gravity not to dominate, but to command attention. Women, consciously or unconsciously, are drawn to a man whose aura suggests he is needed, respected, and in control. 2. Emotional restraint. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. At first glance, this sounds harsh, but when applied to relationships and attraction, it means that emotional independence is more attractive than emotional desperation. Women do not fall for the man who always says yes. They are magnetized by the man who knows when to say no. Machiavellian men are not emotionally reactive. They do not chase validation. They are centered in purpose. This doesn't mean they are cold. It means they are selective with their warmth. And that selectiveness builds value. The less he needs her, the more she wants him. 3. Strategic mystery. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. Machiavelli reminds us that mystery is not a trick, but a strategy. The most attractive men do not reveal everything about themselves too soon. They leave room for wonder, space for curiosity. When you speak, you reveal your mind. But when you hold silence, you command her thoughts. She fills in the blanks with fantasy, and that fantasy is more powerful than anything you could say. 4. Ruthless self-discipline. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Apply this principle inward. A man's discipline, especially with himself, signals his capability to lead others. Women observe how a man leads himself, his habits, his speech, his fitness, his values. If he is careless with his time or health, he becomes less trustworthy to lead. The Machiavellian man is one who has structure. He doesn't waste energy on meaningless indulgence. He invests in his evolution. That restraint is profoundly attractive. 5. Purpose over pleasure. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. In Machiavelli's world, command is not tyranny. it's clarity. A man with a mission will always be more attractive than a man who exists to be liked. Women may flirt with entertainers, but they bond with visionaries. The man who wakes up with drive, who creates, who conquers internal resistance, he stands out. Machiavellian attraction is rooted in purpose. He is not moved by emotions or momentary feelings. He is moved by legacy. 6. Detachment from outcome. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The Machiavellian man is proactive, not reactive. He doesn't wait to see if she likes him. He presents himself, moves forward, and doesn't hesitate to walk away if her energy does not serve his standards. This non-attachment is rare, and it makes him intoxicating. Because while other men are auditioning for her approval, he is deciding if she qualifies for his. 7. Controlled dominance. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. This duality is key. True attraction is not just about softness or strength, but the ability to shift between both as needed. A Machiavellian man is gentle when he chooses, but fierce when necessary. He does not dominate to oppress, but to protect his world. This controlled dominance radiates security. It assures her that he can handle challenges, competitors, even himself. Women crave safety, and the man who embodies both intelligence and strength is her sanctuary. 8. Selective vulnerability. Machiavelli rarely spoke of love, but his silence on the subject was itself strategic. Vulnerability, when offered wisely, becomes a weapon of intimacy. The Machiavellian man does not share everything with everyone, but when he does open up, it is intentional. Selective vulnerability shows depth and strength. It says, I trust myself enough to be seen. That authenticity in limited and earned doses is more seductive than any charm. 9. Mastery of language. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Language is not just about words, but timing, tone, and implication. The Machiavellian man understands that attraction is partly psychological warfare. He speaks with precision, using fewer words, but leaving deeper impact. His compliments are rare, but unforgettable. His criticisms are subtle, but shift behavior. He uses silence as power and speech as seduction. Every interaction is calibrated. 10. Self-reliance. Ultimately, Machiavelli would argue that dependence is weakness, and weakness is unattractive. A man must be able to generate his own sense of worth, purpose, and happiness. The high-value man is not built by others. He builds himself. He has internal validation, internal motivation, and internal peace. And that makes him unshakable. So, what really makes men attractive? According to Machiavelli, it's not softness nor submission. It's not flamboyant wealth or mere aesthetics. It is something deeper, quieter, more commanding. It is mastery. It is purpose. It is power without cruelty. It is kindness without need. In the end, women don't fall for the man who begs to be chosen. They fall for the man who chooses himself. They fall for the man who moves like a storm and stands like a king. They fall for the Machiavellian man. Be that man.